In the last video, we looked at the pattern matcher and we used it to define a pattern to create this curved wall mesh. Now that we understand the pattern matcher, we could use it to do so much more. In this video, we'll create another variation of the curved wall mesh for corner in. So this will be corner out, and use it in a few other places as well. Later, we'll use it to decorate the ceilings because they're all empty and boring. We'll do the same for the ground mesh as well. So let's start with the lights. I see that we have quite a few lights and I want to alternate them. I don't want them next to each other, but one over here, then the next one over here. So let's create a rule for that. Open up the theme. In the theme graph, we see that we are spawning the light meshes directly underneath the wall marker. So let's disconnect that with, I'm holding down Alt and clicking on the pin, and let's create another marker and let's name it wall light. We will use this marker name to and emit it from the pattern matcher once we find a suitable pattern for it. So right now we don't see any of these because there is no marker named wall light in the scene, but we'll soon emit it from the pattern matcher. Alright, in the pattern matcher, we see that we have a rule that we've already designed previously for the curved corner mesh, and we can add as many rules as we like. So let's go ahead and add another one. And before that, let's rename this so it's more organized. So wall corner out. Now this one would be scatter wall lights. So go ahead, right click, add a new rule, marker exists, and if it does, then we want to emit a marker, call it wall light. Now if we come back to the theme graph, the wall lights haven't spawned, right? So let's select this and disable this for a bit, and we say that we get the wall lights here. Now if we did not if we go with the earlier method where we assign here, we get wall lights in all of these walls because a wall marker is inserted like 3 times over here, 4 times over here in each edge depending on the elevation. However, if we use a emit node, if you use this emit marker node, it's just going to emit it once in this position, so which is fine. However, we're using a rule over here that filters out all the markers that are in the other floors, and we want something like that from here. So one way of doing that is, so let me select this. So this is not going to work because it only emits it once in the bottom when we want it to emit on all of the wall markers. So instead of emit markers, we're going to use copy markers. So what this does is it takes a copy of all of the markers, source markers, makes a copy of it. So we'll get a wall light marker in each of these, which is what we want. So we are going to copy wall into wall light, and let's go back here and see if we get the same functionality here. Very good. So now we can enable this. Okay, and we're getting that same behavior, and we are emitting this out in a separate marker rather than in the wall marker. We have a new marker that we can then filter out. Now we can go ahead and design another pattern below this. So we don't have to put everything in the same pattern. We can have smaller and smaller patterns below them working on the ones that we've created previously. So we have scattered the wall lights. Now we can filter them out. So let's create another pattern, filter wall lights, and we're going to give a very simple rule here, add new. So what would the pattern look like? I want these to be alternate. I want one light here, then I don't want a light over here, then another one over here, then I don't want here. So I would look for 3 lights in a row and get rid of the middle one, or I could just look for a light and I see if there's one next to it, then I remove this. So that would work. So create, right click, marker exists, wall light. Then right click, copy rule, paste it over here. So we see that if these two edges exist next to each other, go ahead and get rid of one of them. So remove marker and give the name as wall light. So here it saw that if it's adjacent to this, it removes it, adjacent to that, removes it. And it's not consistent because sometimes it might make this check, sometimes it might make this check, and so on. So this is by design, because when it tries to match this pattern, it will start randomly rotating and shuffling the checks here and there instead of going it on in series. And that works great when we are decorating something like in a prop on the ceilings, which we'll see in a bit. But if you don't want this randomized behavior, you can select the rule and say randomize fitting order. Now look at this. So when I disable randomize fitting order, it starts applying the pattern in line, in series, one after the other, and you get this beautiful pattern of alternating lights. So just with simple rules that build on one on top of the other, you can make some really complex logic, and it's very designer friendly. Next, we will look at creating corner walls on the corner on this inner side, like the way we've done for this. So the pattern that we could work with is, we would want a ground tile here, we would want an empty tile over here, an empty tile here, empty tile here, and we would want a wall edge on these two sides. So let's create one. So click add, let's call this wall corner in, and go ahead and create, add new rule, marker exists, ground, let's bring that here, then add new rule, marker exists, and we want to add a not operator, so we make sure a ground does not exist in this. So right click, copy rule, right click, paste rule, paste rule. We also want to make sure that we have walls over here, so right click, add new rule, marker exists, wall, and let's copy this, paste. All right, so when this pattern matches, which it would in this place, we would want to emit a marker, and let's call it wall corner in. Now go back to this dungeon, add marker node, put in that same name, and I think we'll use the same mesh over here. Let's plug that in. Perfect, it's working. However, I'd like this to go all the way up, so let's go back and select this and select the node that spawned this in, and I want to emit copies along all elevations so we get it all the way up. Like before, we're going to get rid of the wall markers because we have a corner that takes care of this, so this is getting in the way. We can, and so when the pattern matches, it will execute on pattern selected on every single block that we have. So that's how we got this inserted corner in. The pattern got selected and executed this. We can have that same rule on the other ones as well. Remove marker. So here we'll remove the wall. Great, it's gone in this side. Let's remove from here as well. Remove marker, wall. Now if I move back over here, I see the wall separator, so let's get rid of that as well. Right click, add new rule, on pattern selected, remove marker, wall separator. Done. All right, looks good. Now we do have one issue here where we have lights like these, and we don't really want them, right? So why did this happen? Although we are removing the walls here, you see when we do add the corner, we are removing the walls, but these lights are coming in anyway. The reason for that is because above this there is a scatter wall lights node which takes the walls, copies the wall markers onto the wall light markers. So although we are removing the wall markers, it's too late. It's already been copied over to wall light here. So in order to fix that, just move this up and hit build. Okay, let me just move this aside to force a rebuild and bring it back in, and now it works. So we deleted the wall and then we try to copy the wall markers, which is not there in this place because we've deleted it. So you can play with the order, and sometimes it matters, like in this case. In the next video, we'll clean things up. We'll use the same orange ground floor wall around the corners as well. We will cover up these gaps, and I also want to use a thicker corner pillar in this area to cover up these seams that comes with this indented wall.